now because of the pandemic, many people are trying to feel normal in an abnormal situation. And so the Wall Street Journal, their lifestyle section, talked about, men who typically wear suits to work, still wearing suits, even though they're working from home. And they give different reasons for it. But I really think that at the heart of this, it's just an effort to feel normal. Even though things are chaotic, they feel abnormal because they are abnormal. I'm gonna read a few excerpts from the piece where they write Graham Pickering, a 31-year-old, and also an engineer for an energy company outside New Orleans, continued to button up his dress shirts and blazers each day. He was quoted as saying, "I just wanted to put my best foot forward because we're a traditional conservative company in a conservative industry. I didn't want to appear to be taking advantage of working from home." So that is a bad reason. That is a horrible reason in my, you should still, of course, you got to keep the professionalism as much as you can, even if you're working from home. I get that. You can't be a complete slob. But the best way, in my opinion, to stay happy is whenever something crappy happens, try to look at the potential advantages of the crappy thing that's happening and lean into that. Being able to wear your sweats is what you should be leaning into. Look forward to the upsides. What are the upsides of working from home? And try to enjoy those things. We're a conservative company, and who cares? Who cares if you have a conservative company? Do your job. And if you like to wear suits because you like to wear suits, that's fine. But I don't know. I just think people are taught to self-apply these ridiculous pressures that they don't really need to abide by. I don't know. That's how I read that.
100%. There is so much different about the world now that if you end up finding yourself in a company that would rake you over the coals for not putting on a suit because because we're a professional company. Is that a company you really want to work for? I would follow that up with maybe that dude is exactly the kind of person who wants to work for a company like that. But I guarantee that employee that the people at the company he works for are all exploring ways to really embrace the things they found out about their own company during this time. And one of them might be doing away with you anyway, buddy. So at the very least, maybe you should try to find out the ways you can not take advantage, but at least live life to the fullest in such a dire, sad, horrible time.
I remember, it's funny that I think about this now because things obviously have devolved so much since the beginning of the pandemic. But I remember when the pandemic first started, one of the ways that I found a little bit of comfort was by, I don't know why we even did that. I feel like a lot of people went out and bought a lot of snacks. Did you guys do that? Did you guys buy a lot of snacks? Yeah.
Well, I remember stealing a lot of snacks, not stealing from the office, but thinking I don't know how long we're going to be in lockdown. I'm pretty sure I can take 4 packs of Doritos. And I did that.
Oh, yeah.
But there was this moment when we all left the office when I think everybody, I remember that day, Tim, Frisch, and a handful of other people were helping to take marijuana to his house, or at least load the cage up in his car, his truck, or in Jesus's truck, I think it was, to drive out to, not close to the office to go to Tim's house. And there was, and I remember being I don't know when I'm going to get food. I stopped at a market that was didn't have a line out the door as everyone was frenzying. It was one of those family run markets that's not quite a corner store. I think it was Italian or something. An Italian market run by the DiGiorno family or something. And just being I'll get 4 pounds of salami because that keeps. And we just ate the crap out of it.
Yeah, and now I remember why we did the snack thing, because snacks usually have preservatives and they'll last a lot longer. And I don't know, for some reason, it's crazy what it's like mob mentality a little bit, where like if everyone's doing something, you start panicking and you start doing the same thing. So like I didn't like buy an insane amount of toilet paper, but I did get worried about the supply chain and what if there isn't enough food. And you see the empty shelves, and we never see empty shelves in America. Like everything that we were taught to expect, because we're exceptional and we're never gonna have empty shelves here in the United States. Like regardless of how progressive you are, like you still somehow that propaganda like does like settle in your mind. And I would have never guessed in a million years that I would have difficulty finding toilet paper or masks or, food. So all my emphasis was on, okay, food that's non-perishable. And so I bought so much dried fruit covered in chocolate, of course. I bought so many nuts, like covered in chocolate, of course. Like there was so much chocolate in our pantry. It was insane.
Dude, chocolate's a survival item. They put chocolate in like MREs for, people in the military because it's a very effective way to get calories.
Get calories and also stay emotionally stable, obviously. So it kept me happy. But yeah, so like I guess that was one of my ways of like, ooh, we have cool snacks and I don't have to deal with the commute. Like I really did try to lean into like the positives, even though of course I was terrified. I didn't know what the future was gonna hold. I didn't know if our company was gonna survive. Like all of that stuff was of course going through my mind. And like for these guys, I guess what feels normal is getting dressed up. So I don't want to take that away from them. But again, that Graham Pickering guy, the reason he gave kind of sucked. Let me give you the good reason though. So many suit aficionados also took the recent holidays, peculiar and socially distanced though they were, as an opportunity to pursue their hobby. On New Year's Eve, Mr. Sukumar, of Washington, D.C., put on a tuxedo to pick up Korean food from a local restaurant. On Christmas, Mr. Martins of Idaho and his wife got dressed up in their finest formal wear just to sit on the couch and drink wine. It was a way to pretend things are normal in a very abnormal year. And I respect that. I like that. If that's what helps you cope, great, do it. Whatever you need to do.
That's fine. Only if it's the fun one. Like if it's to have fun, but if it's like, I don't feel like a human being unless I'm in a suit working. It's like you need to take a moment. This is your black swan moment to say, the world's different. It's not going to end if I don't wear a freaking suit. I don't know. I had like one moment. I worked at a company, at a talent agency, and then we had, and I was an assistant, and some people had casual Friday, and I tried it once. And the head of the company, like the founding partner, board member guy, was like, "What are you wearing?" And I was like, "It's casual Friday." He's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Come see me after lunch." Because I was going out to lunch and everyone was out there, and he was like, "Come see me after lunch." I was wearing jeans and nice jeans and a nice button down. And I was with two other guys who were wearing nice jeans and nice buttons downs. And we all three were told to go see him. And they both went home and put suits on and came back to the office to meet with, the board member, like whoever, M. Night Shyamalan's agent at the time. And so there we are. And I remember he saying, there's a certain level of professionalism that we exude here. And, he said, I own the company. And I could wear whatever I want. I could come to work in a chicken suit, but I choose not to because of who we are.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, dude, part of it, maybe he means it. And part of it is just an agent thing where they always mess with you to do like, deal jujitsu to just knock you off your game. But I just remember thinking to myself, like, I never want to be this person who has to wear an outfit to do a job. Now, I'm not going to disrespect you by wearing sweats and socks with flip-flops to a meeting. Of course, I'm not going to do that. But I'm not gonna let you run my life by mandating that I fit like a dress code that I think most reasonable people would deem ridiculous.
Yeah, totally. And honestly, I think office culture changed. I mean, in recent years, I had a similar experience. For like maybe a month or two, I worked for a financial advisor. Couldn't stand it. Like, it was such a boring job. I was a receptionist for a financial advisor, and so I was on MySpace all day. That's what I did. But on a Friday, I think it was a Friday. We didn't have casual Fridays, but on a Friday, I just decided like I'm gonna wear black jeans. They weren't like, distressed black jeans. Like, it looked like I was just wearing black pants. They were dark black jeans with a nice top. And like, I was still going through my Valley Armenian phase. And I'm sure you know what that means as a Valley guy. Like, you grew up in the Valley too. Like, I was always ridiculously dressed up. Like, in high school and in my early 20s, like needlessly, constantly wearing heels. I remember the very first concert I went to, which was an Incubus concert. I showed up wearing heels, and my friends were like, "What are you doing? You're at a rock concert wearing heels. It's so stupid." But anyway, so it's not like, even though I was wearing the jeans, I still was pretty fancy looking. And I got called into the financial advisor's office, and she was like, "We don't wear jeans here. It's very unprofessional." And that was when I was like, this place is not for me. I don't like it. It's not. Yeah, it's boring,
I'm sorry, the zero people who are gonna see me from the waist down at my reception job are gonna be offended.